Okay, so the search function here. Now, yeah, we will make our own search function, how to search some data. For example, if we have a lot of data in the table, yeah, we have the user management, and then yeah, it's very difficult to check one by one. Then you need to make a search function. So there are several kind of search function. Okay. The JavaScript, okay, the JavaScript has built-in function. We I guess we still do not work with JavaScript, but we just extract some JavaScript. So there are some limitation with the JavaScript. Yeah, of course you can use it later, but if you can make our own function, it will be better, because the first is our data is unique. So our data should be related with our model, and the built-in function, they cannot figure out what is the model. That's why we need to make our own function, and we can have some libraries. So from the Django itself, they provide the library that we can use for doing this search function. So I will teach you maybe only two of them. Okay, we can use the basic filters, and we can use the filters with query. You already did the assignment with the query, so we will also try to use that query to search some of the data in the table or in the database. In that case, we will use some libraries in Django, like Django Filters. And yeah, we will just continue with the big project, and then let's see how can the filters works with your web page. Okay. So the basic filters, we will use query to filter any input from user. But before we do the filtering, we need to provide a form. So this form is necessary to make the user understand what they are looking for. And the form should include any input that we want user to filter the data. So for example, if I want the user to search by name, then I need to put the name attribute. If I want to use any other attribute like I forgot the question, okay, then yeah, you need to define in the form about the question. So in this section, I will explain to you about the get method. In the previous section, we will learn about the post method. So let's see how can we use the get method in this case. The same with the previous sections, we need to define at least three things. Okay, so in the mid-exam, with the limitation of time, you need to understand that you need to build at least these three: views.ui, urls.ui, and HTML. So this first is about the views.ui. In this section, we will go back again to the user MGMT. We still have the user MGMT. So in the user MGMT, you can go to the views.py. Okay. At the end of this user views.py, you can add this code. Okay. Please add this code in the views.py in the user MGMT. Okay. Please don't put the wrong code in the wrong files, because for every application we have views.py. For user MGMT, we have views.py. For the FAQ, we have views.py. For the index, we also have views.py. So you need to distinguish which views to which application. Okay, so here is the views.py. Oh, there is one error. Oh, I think I missed one file. Wait a moment. I think I missed one file. Okay, I forgot to put one closing bracket here. Okay, now there is no error. Oh, sometimes the very simple error will consume sometimes to understand what is this error. Okay. Okay, now it's okay with the search basic. So in this search basic, I would like to use a queue. So queue is a query. Okay, so I will explain this one later. And then this will be a get function, or this is will be a get method. And we are going to search the queue. And in this case, I'm just using the first name. Okay. So if you still remember about the filter, okay, when you do with the query, you do the filter, and then I would like to filter the first name, and I want the first name contain something. Okay, and the contains will be based on the queue. The queue is the query that we will input into the form in the HTML file. Okay, so let's check this one later. After you have this query, you need to put how we can access the search function. So we need to put one path into the urls.py in the user mgmt. In the urls.py in the user mgmt, you need to put one. Okay, and then the HTML file, okay, the HTML file in the list members in the templates, you can add in this section only. Okay, you already have all the things in the list members. In the list members.html, yeah, you already use the extend, you already use the block content, okay, and then I would like to put this line after the container. Okay, so you can see, oh, I didn't explain this one. Maybe after this I will explain the container and etc. So I put the form. Okay, I hope that you still remember about the form. So we learn about the simple form to create data in the user management, and then we create forms in the HTML. So we just create a very just simple form with the HTML without any design. So we at the time we learn about how to input the department's name, we put the first name, last name, and then some options. Okay. In this case, I'm just using very simple form also to do the search. And after you have this line, you can try to run. Okay. So if you refresh, now you can see there is a new box here to search any name here. Yeah, if you want, you can add more data. Okay, you can add more data. Let's say I will go to the, do you know how to add your data? Yeah, I guess you already have the idea from your assignment. Okay, it's just for easy adding the data. I will just use this. I will just use the admin page. Okay, so I will go to member. So we have two objects. So let's have more objects. Let's say the salutation is okay, anything. Okay, I will just put cc.dd.com. Okay, save and add another. Maybe I have miss QQRR. Okay, anything. Okay, I think I will just add only 3. Okay, so it means we have 5 data, and then if you refresh, now you have 5. Okay, the ID 3 is not available because last time I think I give you one example. I add one more user and then I delete that user. Okay, so the ID 3 has been deleted. So they know the history and they continue with a new number. So it doesn't have any big issue with the numbers. Okay. Now you can try to search. For example, I want to search AA. If you click, now you can see that AA is available. Okay. So you will just remove other data. If you click again without any information, then you will see all the data again. For example, I want to see PV. So yeah, all name starts with PV will appear. Now, if you see in the URL section, there is a question mark, and then we have Q, and the Q equals to PV. So this is the information or the query that you input into this text box. Whatever you input in this text box, it will appear in this URL. Okay, so this is the way to use the get method. The same with the Google. Whenever you want to search in Google, for example, I want to search HUFS. So you can see what is inside this link. So the query, the query here means starting from the question mark, and then we have the Q. The query equals to half. So this is the text that we insert here. And then you will have N. N means this is the N operator. Okay, so source equal to HP. Oh, I don't know why they use this HP. Okay, they have their own symbols to indicate this one. And then EI. Yeah, they have their own way to define what is the source. Okay, and then this is another source about their numbers. This is the something maybe related with this device. Okay, and then OQ equals to HUFS. Maybe they know the server is in HUFS. And then so you can see there are a lot of information in one link. Okay. So now Google try to reduce the appearance of this query. Maybe some years ago, they reveal the information. So what kind of information that you are in your computer, it will be available on that section. But now they put many code, so you cannot understand what is inside this one. Like this one, S client equals to GWS and so on. So it is already encoded into some kind of token or password that you may not understand clearly about this one. But they can use this information to track what you. So they will know how many times people will search about HUFS. And then after they search about the SUFS, they'll know that this PC searched about HUFS. And then someone in Korea searched about HUFS. And how many times HUFS already being searched in Korea and so on. So that's why they collect all the data and they can reuse the data for their analytics. That's the way to use this get method. So I'm just giving you a very simple example about this get method. Now, I will just briefly explain about this get method. This action refers to the URL link that you're going to point out. So you can specify the action in the form, or you can use previous example using post. Okay. So if you are using post, there will be no information posting in the URL. So here is the difference between get and post. When you use the get method, it requests the data from a specified resources. And it will show the parameter in the link. This is the most important keyword. You will see the parameter. You will see the query string. Okay? You will see it in the URL. If you are using post, so you just submit the data to be processed again to the specified resource, and it will transfer the data or the parameter by storing in the HTTP message body. So it means the message body, you will not see it in the URL, but you will see it in the your views.py. You will see it in your backend. If you take a look one more time in the member form, okay? So here you use form and you use post. Okay, when you use post, you will not inform what is the salutation. You will not inform what is the first name. You will not inform people what is the last name, and you will not inform people about the email. So everything will be under the token, which is a secure information. But when you use the get, when you use this method get, it means you will publish all information in the URL. So which one is better? Yeah, if you want to make your security, then of course the post method will be better. But in some cases, get is still necessary in order to show the transparency. That's why now Google try to encode. So it means they will use some string and they change to another kind of code that people will not easily understand. So I would like to give you a note about the get and post method here. Get request can be cache. Do you know what is the meaning by cache? So nowadays, the many website requires you to accept cookies. Yeah, I'm not sure if we are available to make this one here. Let's say maybe Korea Times. Okay. Oh no, I forgot which Korea Health maybe. Mm, okay, I guess no, the Korean website they didn't provide this kind of cookies. Maybe this one. Hmm. Okay, maybe the server already set up something with the existing cookies. They don't have the cookies, but some website they requires you to accept cookies, and in that case, yeah, they will apply the get method. Why? They want to know about you. They want to know that you are accessing that website. So that's the meaning by cache. They can store your information in their computer, and they know that if you are repeating, if you are a repeating customer, then they can promote something to you. Okay. So the get method is good to do like the marketing and etc. And then the get request remain in the browser history. So whenever you do something with get, it will be saved in your browser history. So people will know how many times you access something. Okay. And get request can be bookmarked. So if you are using this kind of things, you can see here there's star button. So this is the bookmark. Okay. So if you are using post method, you cannot do the bookmark. So if you are using the get method, you can use the bookmark. Get request should never be used when dealing with sensitive data. So if you're using password, do not use this get. And the get request have length restriction. So I forgot, now maybe they have like 255 strings. Okay. But now they extend, if you have the HTTPS, so the extension is longer. And then get request should be used only to retrieve data. If you use the post requests are never cached. It means they will not be able to store your personal information. They will not be able to store about your computer information. And then the post requests do not remain in the browser history. So whenever you have new data, like what we did in the user management, so when we use the post, like this one, those information will not be stored in the browser history. The browser history will not be able to check. But if you use the get, be careful, because like this one, if I click here, what happened? You will see AA, you will see BP. It means it was my search string before. So whenever you input this one, it will automatically save in the browser history. So this browser understand that I searched AA before. This browser understand that I searched PP before. Okay, so that's very sensitive if you use the get. Post request cannot be bookmarked, okay, because they use some way to do the post method. And then post requests have no restriction on data length. Okay, so there is no requirement how many strings that you need to fill in the post method. So the explanation here is we have the queue. So the queue is the Yeah, this is the name. So in the form, we have one text and the name is Q, and then the other is about the submit, and this submit is the value is search first name. So this search first name is the button, and then whenever you put something here, it will be equal to the Q, and the Q will go to the search basic. In this case, the action is a link. So the search basic here is just a link, a very simple link to go to the URLs search basic. Okay. So if we go to this link, it means we will run this function search basic, and then we will do this one. Okay. So here we have message. So the message means you search for something, and then we want to show it into this web. Okay, and then the members is the result of this query. And then you will see in the list members. Yeah, I don't have any message here. So I don't have any message here, but members will be updated according to the search basic. After you do the search basic, it will be updating these members. So the for loop will be depending on the result of the query. Okay. So the Q is the parameter of the query. In the views.py, we would like to query based on the first name. So if you want to filter according to the other attribute, then you need to add or modify the query and also input in the HTML file. Yeah, this is the explanation about the values, and you know that we use the question mark, okay, and the question mark is about the query that you can put in the URL, and it depends on what the attribute is. If the attribute is my fire, like this one, then you need to fill in like the variable equals to something, and this is the AND operator. Okay, so the variable equals to some other things. It means one attribute can contain multiple values. Yeah, I think I will not explain more. So this is the simple get, and if you want to use the simple get, you need to be very careful with the sensitive data. Okay, I guess due to the time limitation, I'm not sure if I can finish with all this one, but let's try maybe in 5 minutes. Okay, we will do the adding the additional packages for filters. Now on Monday, I will discuss another thing. Now let's try with these Django filters. So Django provides an additional package to conveniently filter the data. And before we run the Django filters, let's do something with the additional attributes in your model. So maybe in your mid-exam, you already designed the model, and then after you check, oh, yeah, you did something wrong, and then you need to modify the model. So in this case, I would like to teach you how to modify that one. We will use the user mgmt, and we will update the models.py. So in this models, I will add 3 things. Okay, please pay attention on this one. I will add this one line. Okay, this is the time zone. And then I will add this tuple. And then I will add not 3 additional attributes, but 4. Okay, so I will add 4 additional attributes, the red color. Okay, so there are 3 things that you need to add. The first line, the job choices, and then 4 additional attributes. Okay, so let's see. In the user MGMT models, okay, at the original models, you have only 4 attributes. Now, I will add this time zone. Okay, and then I will add job choices. Okay, and then I will add 4 additional attributes. Make sure that you put the correct indentation. Okay. So I hope that you can follow me. Okay. And then, yeah, I use the default parameter since it is an additional attribute. If you add more attributes, okay, make sure that you put the default, and default. Because if it is null, yeah, if it is null, then there will be errors in your database because you are adding attributes. If you start from the beginning, if you start like this one, for the 4 original attributes, you don't need to put default because it's no problem. But if you put additional attributes like this one, make sure that you put default, and default. After you put the default, for example, you want to change the data. Yeah, you can just change the data. So you can do the query, you can update the data. Okay. So in this case, I would like to set and map the data in accordance to the particular values. For example, job, okay, job might be too long. So I would like to use integer to represent the particular job. So here I use the 0 as student, 1 as employee, and 2 as admin. This is just an example. So you can add more about these job choices, or you can have another kind of option. And these job choices will be the choices in this particular attribute. So whenever I show the job, I can see that job is available. So this is the job choices. And the original value is 0. I use integer for the job choices. Okay. I add the age, it is integer, and then I add the date join is about the time zone. So I want to add one about the time then when the user join, and then I add gender. After you do that one, yeah, you need to do the make migration, and you need to migrate. So I think I will finish until this part. Okay, make migration user management. You can go to the terminal. Okay, make migration user MGMT. You need to specify the app name, and then you need to migrate. Okay, after you do the migrate, I guess now you can see something new. Oh, okay. So you still cannot see anything because you didn't call all the attributes. So I will teach you this one on Monday. Okay, so we will have some times on Monday to finish this section.